Right then, this is a walk around video for a wonderful car. This is a Honda Accord 2.4 EX automatic, 2009 with 73,000 miles only, and it's been serviced 12 times. It's absolutely stunning. Front of the car is really good, and no cracks in the lenses at all very good. Bonnet's really clean, hardly a stone chip anywhere. Coming down the near side, I'm doing this a bit quicker than normal, only because it's been one of those sort of showery days on and off, and it's threatening to come again. But unbelievably clean down the panels. And it's got such a natural kind of luster to the paintwork. It's just been washed, it's not been polished or anything like that at all, so it's exactly as it's come to us. It's been kept absolutely beautifully. Bumper corners all really good. Offside of the car, driver's side, again absolutely smooth in the panel work. And come down the panels down here, offside rear alloy, again all really good. And remaining panels are in absolutely fantastic condition, really are. Right, so coming to the boot of the car, absolutely massive boots, and it's been kept absolutely beautifully back here. Coming into the back of the car now, again the interior has been kept every bit as well as the exterior. Certainly don't expect to see a car this age to look as good as this inside. Coming on the passenger side, again all really clean and tidy. Passenger seat on the front there has been given absolutely minimal use. Coming to the driver's door, again all really clean and tidy. Footwell area is lovely. Driver's seat for one, which show all the way. So inside the car now, engine's running for this section, so the dash as always can be seen illuminated. Dashboard is in absolutely perfect condition, just looks like new. You see there, sat nav working exactly as it should. Pop the car into reverse, and that lovely clear gridded parking camera all working perfectly. It is a wonderful interior, as I say, it's been kept absolutely wonderfully. Come up to the dash binnacle, and there you can see 73,512 miles, and there are no warning lights on the dashboard at all whilst the engine's running. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key all here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a simply wonderful car. This is a Honda Accord 2.4 EX automatic. This particular car is registered SM09NVU and mileage of just 73,504. The reason we do these videos is to ensure that if anyone is looking at any of our cars online, they actually get to see the cars we're advertising actually in operation. The reason we feel it's important is very simple. We just want to ensure that no one has to sort of suffer what we've done, which is to basically go and see cars which have looked perfectly good in photographs and in description, only to get there and find out when we get there there's a fundamental fault with the car which we would much rather known about before setting off, so hence that's why we do it. It's also done on these very quiet country roads in this lovely part of Gloucestershire. This actually forms part of the road test route we take customers on, so hopefully then it would be representative of what you feel yourself should you be offered a test drive in the car, which hopefully won't be on a day which has been kind of a Four Seasons day today. 1 minute lovely, the next minute absolutely belting it down, but I have to do them when I can, so I do apologise. This is it's not only one of my favourite Hondas of all time, just as an overall package, but also one that's been just beautifully looked after. I think from memory, if it serves me right, it's been serviced 12 times, and of those I think 10 of them have been done by the Honda main dealers, and only the last 2 have been done independently, which is fine. It's just a wonderfully looked after car, which immediately feels like it, because it's just absolutely rock solid on the road. It's lovely. Again, I have to kind of rein in my enthusiasm for these cars, because I think there's occasionally a manufacturer gets things absolutely right, and that's exactly what Honda have done with this vehicle. There's pretty much every aspect of the car is pretty much top of the class, if not top, second. You know, it's a wonderfully engineered vehicle, starting with the engine, which is the heart of the beast with any Honda cars, and it's one of the best four-cylinder engines ever made, in my opinion, and it's right up there with all of Honda's great engines, because it gives you everything. It gives you the long-lasting reliability you expect of any Honda car. I mean, they're pretty much bomb-proof if you just maintain them regularly. It's got, you know, incredibly tough engine, but it's a joyous engine to use day in, day out. So sweet-natured in its engine, its power delivery, the acoustics of the engine rather. It sounds wonderful at any point in the rev range. You know, just when most engines are screaming out for, you know, no more, this one is just coming on song. When you put your foot down, you get that intake noise, induction noise, which just sounds fantastic. It gets more frantic, but in a civilized way. Wonderful unit, and its power delivery gives you very un-VTEC like, because it's not all at the top end. It's got all the urge you get expect of its VTEC, but it's got mid-range, it's got low end, so you put your foot down and it's immediately got thrust, it's immediately got pull. Sensational, absolutely sensational. It's also worth pointing out there's no warning lights on the dashboard at all. Temperature gauge running at a third, which is exactly where it's meant to be, so all in fine fettle there. It runs through the Honda automatic gearbox, which again is a wonderful gear change. The quality gear shifts are superb. The ratios have been chosen to extract obviously the very best out of the car in terms of performance, but also in terms of economy, because, you know, the manufacturer's figures will say this isn't as good on fuel as the 2 litre. I've actually found in day-to-day driving, I find these better on fuel, just because you're not having to work the engine so hard, but also more relaxing to drive, because again, you're not having to put your foot down as far. There's not as many gear changes going on, but that's each their own, I guess. And the gearbox, again, you know, it's incredibly tough and long-lasting, but, you know, still just check that the gear changes are smooth. The selection to drive and reverse don't display any sort of clunks or thunks, and there is nothing at all. It's absolutely spot on. It's you know, these have got a reputation for sort of lasting beyond the life of the car. In all honesty, they're incredibly tough. Then moving on to the steering and chassis, which I've always said I think is the unsung hero of this car. The steering is perfection for an electric power steering car. One of the first ones to have it. They absolutely nailed it with this. It's got a wonderful weighting to it. It feels slightly heavy, but in a good way. But it means also at higher speeds, it's totally confidence-inspiring. It's absolutely precise, it's accurate, it's quick to respond. It's just superb. It also tracks absolutely dead straight and shows no vibrations at the speed or any speed up to the legal limit. But it works so wonderfully with the chassis, because the chassis can keep up with the steering, which isn't always the case with cars. The chassis is simply brilliant. It gives you a firm, beautifully damped ride. It's not uncomfortable, it is comfortable, very comfortable, because comfort's really subjective. It's not all about being pillowy smooth on these surfaces. It's about how it goes through corners, how it deals with sharper bends, off-camber stuff. And this eats corners. You know, you can absolutely throw it into corners at that speed, and it's unflappable. It's just the chassis is genius in this car, and I was really lucky. I've just done another video on a 2.4. It's rare to get one, let alone two. And it reminded me of, you know, when I was working at Honda, and had a wonderful day at the racetrack, taking customers around against competitive cars, or competition I should call them, and marvelled at on the track how accomplished this car was, when so many others which had sporty pretensions just, you know, not literally fell apart, but certainly on the track they just felt awful. They felt floaty and wallowy, and, you know, no feel through the chassis at all. This leans on all four wheels wonderfully well. whilst I'm doing the video, by the way, I'm also listening out for any noises coming from underneath the car that, you know, shouldn't be there, any sort of rattles or clonks, and there's absolutely nothing at all. It's rock solid. Same goes with the brakes of the car. They're powerful, they bite brilliantly, there's no pulsing, no vibration, it all feels absolutely as tight as a drum. Inside the vehicle, you've got this wonderful interior which just hardly is aged. It's a lovely place to sit and drive a car, laden with equipment which all seems to work perfectly. You've got ice cold air conditioning, big sat nav recessed in so it doesn't glare like these horrible tablets on modern cars. Quality of the switchgear is simply brilliant. Just press any button you want and it has such a satisfying click action, sort of like a high quality hi-fi, and as I said, all working exactly as it should. A dash binnacle in front which is old school Honda, all the better for it. I wish Honda would go back to this, in all honesty. Big symmetrical dials for speed and revs, flanked by the temperature and fuel gauges, and it's just there, it's instant, beautifully presented. A steering wheel which is again spot on, perfect rim diameter, feels great in hand, leather bound, it feels absolutely as new to hold. And the thing that still, well, it shouldn't amaze me even after all these years, I'm driving around in what is like a 12-year-old car, I think. Not a squeak, not a rattle, not a buzz. It feels and drives like brand new to drive. It's just got that solidity to the entirety of the car. I mean, this is Honda's heyday. This is just a marvel of engineering, which is why they are so sought after and why their prices are actually starting to rise. And that comes as no surprise at all, because lots of people who have tried other manufacturers who have suffered the pain of running them and then realise they can drive a car with all the abilities in this car, but for, you know, a fraction of the price, but a fraction of the running costs as well. It's such a satisfying car to own in every way. I apologise for, I love these cars, so, you know, take with a pinch of salt what I say, please feel free to do so. However, the mechanicals that I'm checking exactly as I said, you know, I wouldn't pull any punches. If there's something wrong, you will know about it. This drives as they used to when I was selling nearly new ones many years ago at Honda. A wonderful car. As always though, if you've got any questions, don't hesitate, do give us a call.